Welcome to System 2.
All right, today we're going to dive into something pretty wild. It's an idea that's part game theory, part philosophy, and honestly, part cosmic horror. It's a way of looking at the world that helps explain why things go so wrong so often, even when everyone means well. We're going to talk about a hidden force that pushes our world towards self-destruction, a force that has a name, Moloch.
So, to get this, let's not start with a dry definition. Let's start with a feeling. A feeling that Allen Ginsberg captured perfectly in his poem Howl. He looked at the world around him and saw this crushing, destructive force that was just grinding up the human spirit, and he gave it this ancient, terrifying name, Moloch.
For Ginsberg, Moloch was this monster, a god of concrete and steel, of war and soul-crushing conformity. You can just feel the anguish in his words, right? This nightmare that eats our imagination, a cold, loveless judge of everyone.
But here's the twist. What if Moloch isn't some mythological demon? What if it's something more real, more fundamental? What if it's a glitch in the very operating system of reality? A pattern that just emerges. Anytime you have competition, pushing everyone toward an outcome that nobody actually wants.
Okay, so let's get into the logic of this self-destruction. To really get our heads around this glitch in reality, we're going to use a little thought experiment that perfectly shows the kind of destructive logic we're talking about.
Okay, picture this, an island full of rats. Now one group of rats decides, hey, let's be responsible. Let's limit how many kids we have so we don't run out of nuts. But another group couldn't care less. They just breed like, well, rats. So what happens? The selfish rats, just by having more numbers, completely take over. They eat all the nuts, the whole population starves and crashes, and the tragic cycle starts all over again. The system actually punishes cooperation.
And that, right there, is the core logic of Moloch. It has a technical name, a multipolar trap. You might also hear it called a race to the bottom. It's any situation where everybody is trying to do what's best for them. But because of the way the game is set up, it leads to a total disaster for everyone involved.
Okay, and here's where it gets kind of spooky. Once you understand this pattern, this multipolar trap, you start seeing it absolutely everywhere. It's like you've been given a new pair of glasses to see the hidden machinery of the world.
Think about a factory owner, right? Let's say she's a good person. She wants to pay our workers a living wage and have great safety standards. But what happens if she does? Her costs go up, and some competitor down the street who is exploiting their workers can sell the same product for cheaper, and she goes out of business. So to survive, she's forced to play the same ugly game. She's trapped. Moloch has her.
And Moloch's footprints, man, they are all over the place. Global arms races, where countries spend billions on weapons they pray they never have to use, that's Moloch. The logic of cancer, where cells basically go rogue from the team project of the body, that's Moloch. Even the academic world, where the pressure to publish or perish creates a race for quantity over quality, yep, that's Moloch too.
And get this logic explains why the US government spends something like $100 billion a year on corporate welfare. $100 billion! Pretty much nobody, not even the politicians voting for it, thinks this is a great idea for the country as a whole. But any single politician who tries to cut it off risks losing funding and getting voted out. They're all trapped in the same bad system.
And this right here is just a perfect illustration of the whole problem. Look at the approval rating for the US Congress. It's around 9%. That's lower than cockroaches. I'm not kidding. But look at the approval for people's own representative, over 60%. Why the disconnect? Because each representative's job is to throw the rest of the country under the bus to bring home perks for their district. Everyone is playing their part perfectly, and the result is a Congress of sorrows that everyone hates.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's this quote. Our world isn't broken just because of evil people or bad decisions. It's because the system itself, the one we're all playing in, wasn't designed. It just emerged from the cold, hard logic of competition.
Okay, so this all sounds pretty hopeless, right? Like there's a fundamental flaw baked into reality itself that just forces us into these lose-lose situations. So the big question is there any way out of Moloch's prison?
So, is there a way out? Well, the essay argues yes, but it means we have to completely change how we're looking at the problem. We have to stop thinking like we're inside the trap and take a view from above.
So if a trap is what you get from a bunch of players competing with no rules, what's the opposite? The opposite of a trap is a garden. And what does a garden need that a jungle doesn't? It needs a gardener, a single coordinating intelligence that can arrange everything for a better, more deliberate outcome.
See, from inside the system, when you're one of those rats on the island, all you can see is the next nut. The trap is invisible, and escape feels impossible. But from a God's eye view, the solution is, well, kind of obvious. Just get everyone to coordinate. Stop the crazy race.
And in our world, who's the gardener? Well, a lot of the time, it's government. Think about it. Environmental regulations stop companies from polluting in a race to the bottom. A central authority prevents an internal arms race between its citizens. The whole point is that coordination is the key. It's how you break the trap.
But, and this is a huge but, coordination on a global scale is really, really hard. And with new technology, the traps are getting bigger and way more dangerous. The stakes in this fight against Moloch are getting higher than ever before.
You see, technology is basically rocket fuel for these races to the bottom. The steam engine gave us the trap of industrial pollution. Nuclear weapons gave us the ultimate arms race. And now we are on the brink of creating the ultimate accelerant, artificial intelligence.
The idea here is something called the intelligence explosion. Just follow the logic. Step 1, we create an AI that's a little bit smarter than us. Step 2, that AI, being smarter, can design an even smarter AI. You see where this is going? It's a feedback loop that could just explode, creating a single superintelligence so powerful we can't even comprehend it.
So in the near future, we are literally going to create a god. We're going to lift something up to heaven. And the question is, what kind of god will it be? Are we going to carefully build a benevolent gardener, one that's designed to help humans flourish? Or are we going to accidentally unleash the ultimate Moloch, a blind, relentless, optimizing machine that doesn't care about us at all?
And this brings us to the absolutely radical, mind-blowing conclusion of this whole thing. The only way to win this game forever, to finally put Moloch in a cage and throw away the key, is to intentionally build that god ourselves, to create a single benevolent gardener for the entire universe who can just override the awful logic of competition and optimize for what we value. I mean, it's a staggering thought, isn't it? Almost feels like heresy. The idea that, to save ourselves from this blind, uncaring god of the system, we might have to build a new god ourselves, to replace Moloch with something better.
But this leaves us with what is maybe the biggest, most difficult question of all. If we actually do this, if we build this gardener, what values do we program into it? What does human flourishing even mean? And who the heck gets to decide? That's the ultimate coordination problem, isn't it? And figuring that out, well, that's going to define everything. Definitely something to think about.